yours? I got it.
Ooh, look, they got good stuff there. I wonder nobody wants cookies.
Okay? We're headed up. We're headed up in a lot of ways. Property values seem to be going up a little bit in some areas. Who'd have thought? People are buying homes left and right because they're cheap. Who'd have thought they'd ever be this cheap? It's time. It's time now. If you sat on your butt, if you were waiting for something, now's the time. I was going to go ahead and I found online these tiny little paddles. They look like little cardiac paddles. And I was going to get a bunch of them and make you turn to your neighbor and put them on their chest. It's time to revive the person sitting next to you. Okay? 60 seconds max. I want to hear one or two success stories of what you've had recently with a closing or a client. Ted.
Yep, took them out, showed them everything. Started in Oviedo, went over God's Green Acre. They wanted a vacation home. Long story short, $326,712 times 8%. You do the math. God is good. It was a fabulous sale. If you haven't sold new vacation homes, find a buyer and see me, and I'll tell you how to make a lot of money selling one house.
New homes, period. Come on, here we go. Now 60 seconds.
The world famous Joe Blow, the guy who came in, went into the trash, resurrected, took him around to Reunion Summit, took him to a vacation home. Stopped at D.R. Horton, they weren't there, picked up another client with him. Took him over to our home. He said to me he wants to buy 2 units. The lady from Canada wants to buy 1 unit, $750,000 at 8%. Figure that.
Yeah.
Foreclosure outlook. Well, look, you know, we went for a year with like nothing. Then we went for 3 or 4 months. You're getting 7 to 8 a week. Now that January started, the first 1 or 2 weeks of January, I think we've been seeing 3 or 4.
3 last week, 1 this.
1 so far this week.
Today,
I think we're going to be up to 7. I think it's going to jump up to 10. Foreclosures are starting to hop, which means not just for us, but for all of the brokerages out there, a lot more inventory. Conversation point, you're speaking with clients. There's going to be a lot more inventory. I've seen it in my own brokerage. There's a lot more inventory coming on the market. There's a lot of great stuff to look at, a lot of stuff to pick from. We need to move now. People are scarfing up the deals. Boomtown Outlook, I already went over that. We're doing phenomenal. If you're willing to pick up the phone, you're willing to work, you're willing to go the distance, I'm willing to try you and put you on Boomtown. But the door is closed for those of you that want leads but do not plan to work it. Can you blame me? Okay. So that's fair, right? If you're really willing to work, I'm willing to give you all you can work. As a company, we are doing phenomenal. We're having phenomenal years. We're seeing agents break out that for many, many years did nothing, but actually started applying the strategies that Robert and I have been handing out and discussing. Actually applying the tactics that Robert has taught them to do with the telephones. Taking advantage of some of the programs in the house, from foreclosures to Boomtown to all different kinds of stuff we've been doing. Their careers are taking off. People are making a ton of money. So this is where we do what I call the mirror check. Michael Jackson called it the man in the mirror. Okay? Go in front of the mirror and ask yourself, are you doing everything in your career you need to be doing right now to go to the place that you desire? And I said this a couple years ago and I'll say it again. You may choose to be a housewife or house husband where you've got obligations at home and that's your priority. Focus on those obligations, but sit with me and build a business plan that gets you where you want to be in real estate. If it's only 3 transactions a year, 4 transactions a year, that's fine. I will build a business plan with you that gets you 4 transactions a year. But if you don't have a business plan, you're going to be no better than you were last year or the year before or the year before that. Does that make sense? There's no great business that's started and run without a business plan. Guys, you're in your own business. Yes, you've got great support from a company behind you, but you're in your own business. You've got to be a self-starter in some sense. You've got to come up with a map to what it is you want to accomplish. So, I beg of you, get with Katie, get on my calendar. I'm doing it 10:30 or 2:30. Fill out the business plan first. Come sit down with me, and then I'm going to modify it. I'm going to give you things to do and approaches to take your business plan to the next level. If you don't run it like a business, you're never going to have the successes. But when I sit down now and I'm doing these business plans with people, if they would follow just half of what I map out for them, which literally could be done in 3 hours a day, the business plan calls for over 6 figures in income. And I scratch my head and I say, I don't know why. The business plan's easy to begin with, but when we actually do it, if you just gave it 50% effort, you can make $100,000 a year doing it. I don't like throwing $100,000 out there as a pie in the sky number, but when I look at it on paper, it is so easy to accomplish.
Just to give you guys an idea of some of the new things that we're going to be doing in the company during 2012, we are going to continue doing this monthly mandatory meeting. It's going to change up, and we're going to do a little bit less with the vendors in the beginning. Like I said, that was just for the kickoff to make sure everybody knows who's who. But we're gonna try to keep each of our meetings under 90 minutes. We'll probably go to the 2-hour mark today. We'll have you guys out of here before 12. But we are going to do it. Why did we suddenly title it mandatory? Because it's been decided that from now on, it's mandatory for you to be here if you want your brokerage to help you succeed in this business. We can't help you if you don't associate with us, if you don't associate with the realtors. You came to this brokerage for a reason. Here's the company, here's the brokerage. And we are going to give updates. We are going to talk about certain things. And you can't get what we're given if you're not here to get it. So that's what it's mandatory for. If you're not so concerned about your business or the growth of it, or if you're not really interested in meeting your fellow colleague realtors and stuff, fine, then it's not mandatory for you. But I think that if you're actively working the real estate business and you've chosen to be part of this firm and this company, it should be mandatory for you. Who in here would be interested in watching a top producer make live prospecting calls where you could hear both ends of the call for a couple hours? Raise your hand if you would be interested in watching a top producer do this. I was very impressed with how he was on the phone. Casual, calm, humorous on the phone, and I just really liked him a lot, so I decided to research him, call him across the country from Utah, and ask him if he would be willing to come on a webcam here and do live calls and talk about the calls that he's making. I thought it would be a really neat experience to watch what's going on the phone and how is somebody handling themselves. How are you doing on the phone? So I thought that would be really neat. We're going to put him on sometime over the next month or two, and we're going to continue with that. If you want to request any training topics that you think a number of agents would be interested in, you can either email it to me, or we have a suggestion box now that we put in the workroom back there. Just a small little box that if you guys, any suggestions for any reason that you want to make that you think are positive suggestions of things that the company could do for the realtors or for any other part, we're open-minded.
Yeah, if you look at the handout we gave you, and always on exitcentralworks.com, everybody write that down if you don't already have it. There will be a monthly calendar. And on exitcentralworks.com, there's also all the documents you need for writing a contract, all the packages you need. So it's a good resource site for you. It's actually a necessity. But it also has this calendar, and it will show you the times that the trainings are.
I've been here for almost a year now in March, and I work with some staff in my Exit Realty brokerage. And at my Exit Realty brokerage, I thought they were the hardest working people in the company, and really were the fuel of the company that kept it rolling. On the count of 3, we're going to give the Arsenio a haul. 1, 2, 3. Yeah.